All right, so you were on the staff for the 2017 Taipei World University Games as an assistant coach for the women's swim team, as well as having a couple of athletes from UNC where you were working at the time competing in there as well. What do you remember most about your World University Games experience?
I think the thing that I remember most was being able to represent my country. I wasn't an athlete, obviously, because being on staff, but as a swimmer, I missed out representing United States of America by one spot on a national team, and it was something I always wanted to do. And so then this opportunity came about. As you said, a couple athletes from UNC that were on the team, and we got selected. Ironically, Coach DeSilm got selected first, but he was on the world champs staff for open water swimming. And then it kind of, because that's kind of how it works. It goes to the head coach first, and it got passed down to me because I worked directly with Caroline and worked loosely with Helen. But the thing that I remember most was just representing my country. The glamour of it all, travel, going to the meet, seeing the other athletes, seeing other athletes from other countries. That was really cool as well. Village life, because, you live in a village. So that was a very cool experience as well. But yeah, representing your country, there's nothing really you can take that away or beat that experience, probably hands down.
Yeah. So do you believe competing in a global event like the World University Games helped your athletes, all the athletes you've coached, Caroline and Helen, and, since then, like going to a global event like the games, do you think that like helped them become better competitors overall?
Absolutely. It's in USA Swimming, they actually talk about it a lot. They call it like the national team effect or something like that. That once you make a team and you represent the United States of America on an international stage, or for that matter, for international athletes who represent their country on these same meets, you get exposed to such fast swimming. And, from Caroline, she had one more year of school left. After that, Helen was done. But Caroline, she took it to a whole nother level because, you get that experience, you work hard to get that experience, and then you get there and you realize, wow, I can compete on this international stage. I can do things that I never thought were once possible. And then you come to college swimming, coming back to the college realm her next year, she was just another animal, training wise, performance wise. She had so much more confidence, and you exude confidence when you make these teams. And so that there's a very, as you say, indicator of future success. And, being World University Games, they actually talk about that 2017 team. They said somebody from this team is going to make the Olympic team in 2020. Obviously, we're in 2021 now. So, but someone from that team, good chance is probably going to make the team this coming weeks. And since the trials are beginning. And so it is a very unique experience. And there is that prestige and honor that comes from it. And you exude confidence. Absolutely.
Yeah. Speaking of those swimmers, what was it like getting to watch them represent the U.S. as well? And like, how did they do as well?
Watching the entire USA staff or the athletes,
yeah.
It was awesome. You get to know so many of these kids. UNC, we had a couple of kids. NC State had like 5 kids on that team, 5 or 6. They had quite a handful. And, you get to know, like I said, you get to know these kids and these student athletes, and watching them perform, watching how they handle things. You get to coach some of them, depending on how things are happening at the meet on that current day. You get to work with them and figure them out. And, I was able to work with Ryan Held for actually a couple days. And, because Braden was on the staff as well, and he was busy running some other things. And so Held and I actually started working together, and, we've been close ever since. And so it's cool to see and, get to meet these kids, you know, meet these kids from other programs and how they approach certain things, and work with them and get to know their personality. And, when you see them at swim meets, let's just take Ryan Held, he's an Olympian, he's out here, he's an Olympic gold medalist at that time, he's out here. But when you get down to know him, he's just a pretty cool guy. He's just a funny dude. And that's a cool experience. And, going back to my first statement, all those athletes had an awesome time and loved representing the United States of America. It's something that you can't take away, or what's the word? You can't duplicate it. You can't duplicate that experience.
So, you lived here in the Triangle area for a while, being a coach at UNC and everything. Do you believe, how do you feel about like UNC hosting the World University Games and the other universities around this area?
That'd be an awesome opportunity. The Triangle area, you have so much at your fingertips. Obviously major airport is number one to get everybody in, but then you have the infrastructure to host it. And, it'd be something, I don't know if the United States has hosted World University Games. Once, do you know when?
Well, for the Summer University Games, it was in Buffalo in '93, I want to say.
Wow, it's been that long. Okay. So it is a mini Olympics. When I went to Taiwan, it's just a mini Olympics. We had a village, you bust in, that situation a little bit different. But the Triangle area will have much more places to host these events, because it's a different layout than Taipei was. But the USA hasn't hosted it. I mean, in 1993, I wasn't even swimming. So, and I'm old. And so, that's something that's awesome, because most of the time it's in Asia. The Asian countries usually host. I know it's in Italy the next time around, but I believe it's Italy. But, you go way over there, and it's just something that would be cool to host again, because college swimming, that's what it is. University games, college athletics, I should say, is so big in America. That would be a awesome event to be able to host.
Yeah. So, in your personal and professional experience, what kind of positive impact do you expect for the Triangle area from host if they were to be selected for the 2027 games?
Well, first thing is prestige. You're going to get the notoriety of hosting and be able to host such an international event. But, when it comes down to it, monetary, you have people coming in, building. If you have to build the structures and the infrastructure to host, most of the infrastructure is already there in the Triangle area, but building it, which would actually later on bring in more events. But then you have travelers to come watch. You have these teams that come to watch, and depending on how you do the village, Taipei, when they built the village, they built it, and it was an Olympic village. And after they were done, it turned over to housing to families, and it was something they gave back to the community. And so there's several different what's the word I want to use? Several different benefits of the Triangle area hosting that, because, you get a lot of stuff from it. And, obviously most notably is the money, because that's the main concern of everything. But yeah, it'd been awesome. That would be an awesome event.
Yeah, it would be really cool. And in your opinion, what would make for the best athlete and coaches like experience at an event like the World University Games?
I would say based on my experience in Taipei, the facilities weren't close to the village. Like, we had a 30 to 40 minute bus ride. I know every place is different. Olympics are a little bit different when they host. When I was at Pan Am's in 2019, it was kind of the same situation. The village was far off, and it was a 30-minute bus ride, and that was with no traffic. With traffic, it'd take an hour. That would be my number one recommendation, depending on logistics and the infrastructure of things, is making sure things are accessible. at Pan Am's, they had bus lanes. You know, that would be a huge recommendation, because even with bus lanes, it still took us 30 to 45 minutes to get to the pool. Excuse me, Taipei, they didn't have that. So you were at mercy of traffic. And then, but yeah, making sure there's, and all the infrastructure is pretty close. That'd be my number one recommendation. You know, because everything else will be in place. You know, the facilities, the village, the dining hall, all that stuff will be fine. It's just the logistics of getting from village to venue, no matter what sport, and then getting back from venue to village. So that's probably it.
All right. So it was the last question. You kind of just answered it. But would you personally and professionally like to see the Triangle and your old employer UNC host the games? And if so, do you have any advice for the North Carolina bid committee that might help them land these games?
Yeah, obviously now I'm down the road. I mean, I think it's 3.5 hours. I think Raleigh's 3.5 hours from here, so it'd be pretty cool to host. And I'm pretty close to it. Other than the infrastructure, no, I don't have any other any recommendations on anything like that. Just have fun with it. You know, it's a great opportunity, and it's something that will be beneficial to the entire community, because the Triangle area is so compact with just three different cities, obviously, but just different businesses and different people and different opportunities.
All right. Well, that's all the questions I have. Thank you so much for doing this.
You got it.